Let us quiet the mind for a moment. Your feeling of being stationary is not born from a lack of will. It comes from honoring currents that were not shaped by you, from waiting for a gentle nod from the world. In this stillness, you may see others pass by, carried by a different tide, not because they are more deserving, but because they have understood a simple truth. The river of life does not always carve the hardest stone. It flows where there is acceptance and a quiet resolve to chart one's own course. You may feel that you are falling behind. In a way, you are, but perhaps not for the reasons your mind tells you. Because in this moment, another person with less preparation is taking their first step. Someone with a less refined skill is sharing their gift with the world. And someone with less to lose is building the reality you only visit in your thoughts. This sharing is not meant to motivate you. It is an invitation to gently awaken you. Here are 15 perspectives. They are clear and they are deep. They are the kind that may cause a restless mind to turn away, but a searching soul to find its strength. Let us begin. 1. Life doesn't give you what is fair. It mirrors what you define as your own. Let us release this beautiful notion of cosmic fairness. You do not receive your inherent worth automatically. You receive what you are willing to create space for. Most of us were shown how to walk a given path, not how to feel where a new one should be. This is why another, perhaps less prepared, receives more abundance. Why someone with fewer seasons of experience leads the great project, and why the quiet, dedicated soul is often overlooked, not from a lack of inner light, but because they never illuminated their own space. The universe is not a judge, but it is a reflection of the energy you project with gentle certainty. Consider this: how often have you settled for less, simply to maintain a false peace, all while another calmly stated their needs and was met? Cease hoping for the world to find you. Begin to cultivate the ground where you stand. If you do not define your own space, you will find yourself living in a space defined for you. 2. The world does not celebrate potential. It honors what has been brought to life. This insight can be difficult, especially if you have been seen as a vessel of possibility your whole life. You can hold the most profound awareness in the room, the most vibrant creativity, the most disciplined heart. Yet, if there is no fruit from the tree, no manifestation of this inner world, it remains unseen. Life does not nourish what could be, it nourishes what is becoming. You are not invited to the table for the seeds you carry, but for the harvest you have tended to. You do not grow a following because you could offer wisdom. You grow it by sharing, day after day, even when the words feel imperfect. The ones who thrive are not always the most gifted. They are simply the most present in their practice. They offered their work sooner. They built their path more openly. They gathered the fruits of their labor while you were still polishing the seed. And here is the subtle trap: living in potential feels like a warm comfort, but it gives the mind a reason to remain in stillness. Let go of collecting praise for the seed. Begin to share the evidence of its growth. 3. People are drawn to inner certainty more than outward skill. You may believe that if you simply perfect your craft, recognition will naturally follow. This is not the way. We exist in a world of energy, and this energy responds to what feels true. Your inner certainty is not a small thing. It is the ground on which you stand. It is why someone with a fraction of your knowledge guides the conversation. It is why the passionate voice, even when mistaken, is heard. And it is why you, with all your deep understanding, sometimes hold back your truth. Because this certainty is not about being flawlessly correct. It is about being fully present. And the most transformative part is that this presence does not need to be forced. An assumed peace still works, because others will feel the stillness you project. Walk into a space as if you belong there, and very few will question your place. Remain unseen. Withdraw, apologize for your space, and the world will assume you have nothing to offer. So no, life will not always reward the most skilled, but it will always make way for the one who walks with a quiet, knowing that they are already whole. 4. You don't need affection from all. You need respect for your center. This is a tender realization, especially if you were taught to seek harmony above all else. You do not need the warmth of everyone's approval. You do not even need the warmth of many. You simply need others to feel the quiet strength of your boundaries. To be liked is a fleeting warmth. To be respected is a steady mountain. You can be the most compassionate heart in the world, but if you allow your garden to be trampled, you will not receive a prize for your kindness. You will only find your spirit diminished. And here is the illusions. Striving to be accepted by all often makes others feel less connected to you, for it lacks a true center. It feels empty. Respect is born from your connection to your own values, from embodying them even when it is not easy, from speaking a gentle truth when silence would be simpler. Stop fearing being misunderstood. Begin to be a person whose stillness feels intentional, not absent. Because the moment people sense you do not require their validation, they begin to interact with the truth of who you are. 5. Most great ability is disciplined presence in another form. Have you ever observed someone's journey blossoming and wondered what unseen force guides them? It is not always a rare gift. It is not always a turn of fate. It is often this. They continued their practice when most would have sought rest. We are taught a story that great things are born from innate genius. But those who truly create, they simply return to their practice more often. You feel your offering is not received. Gently observe how many times you have truly offered it. You believe your skill is lacking. Very well. How many times have you practiced in the light of day? The quiet truth is that most journeys do not end in failure. They simply stop. 3 offerings are made, no echo is heard, and the presence vanishes. A new path is started. It is broken once, and the energy dissipates. You look upon one who is consistent and call it a gift, when it is truly just dedication meeting time. If you wish to be a transformative presence, be the one whose focus does not waver when the path becomes quiet and repetitive. 6. The lowest point is not an end. It is the beginning of true ground. Here is the profound shift in perspective that is seldom spoken of. The moment the ground gives way is not a fall. It is a homecoming. Once you have released what you feared releasing, you become a powerful, quiet presence. There are no expectations to carry, no image to protect, no more pretending to be well when you are not. It brings pain, yes, but it also offers a profound clarity. For when the old structure dismantles, the space for your true self can finally emerge. Some of the most centered people walking this earth began with nothing. Not because they sought it, but because they had no other path, no other refuge, no identity left to defend, only the call to begin anew. You do not have to seek this empty space, but if you find yourself there, be still. You now have nothing left to lose. Let that be the firm ground on which you stand, not the reason to remain fallen. 7. You are not behind, but you will be if you keep observing life instead of cultivating it. You are not as far from your path as you believe, but the seasons continue to turn, each moment spent watching another's garden grow. Telling yourself it is research is a moment you did not spend tending to your own soil. Most people do not falter because they move slowly. They falter because they remain in a state of intake forever. Endless teachings, guiding words, inspiring stories. It feels like growth, but it is not. You do not grow from what you consume. You grow from what you cultivate. And here is a truth we often avoid. The people you look to are not of a different nature than you. They simply began planting while you were still studying the sky. You do not need more wisdom. You need more practice. Write the words. Begin the project. Share the version of your gift that you do not feel is entirely ready. Because if you are still only observing tomorrow, you are choosing to fall behind. 8. Clarity is a gentle light. Ambiguity keeps the world in shadow. Most walk through their days as if in a thick fog. They have a vague sense of a desire for purpose, a distant feeling that they wish to grow. Someday, they will begin when the storms of life have passed. But the storms will not pass. And that undefined, hazy intention, it dissolves your inner strength. Ambiguity is how we remain still without acknowledging it. Because if you do not know your destination, you will not know which path to turn away from. And so, the more journeys you entertain, the more your own becomes lost. Clarity cuts through this mist. This is my path. I will walk it with this intention, and I will gently decline anything that pulls me from it. That level of focus is a powerful current. Most people are occupied, but the clear ones, they are the ones who become truly effective with great peace. If these reflections resonate with the path you are walking, consider joining this community on its journey of discovery. Subscribing is a small way of saying you are ready to cultivate your own clarity. Feel free to share this so others may also find their way out of the fog. 9. If you are not dedicated, someone who will shape the world around you. You seek balance in all things. That is a beautiful aspiration. Simply understand that another soul desires the world you envision, and they desire it with their entire being. They are rising earlier. They are forgoing fleeting comforts. They are engaging in countless repetitions of their practice. Not because they hold more light, but because their focus is unified. Total dedication is a challenging path, but it is why true creators are always a few seasons ahead and never looking back. You cannot casually walk toward a mountain and expect to arrive before someone who journeys as if it is their only destination. They are willing to stumble in the open, to practice on days of rest, to pour their spirit into it. And if you are still concerned with the opinions of others, they are moving past you in this very moment. The truth is this: you do not need to match their innate gift. You only need to match their deep desire, or accept that one with a deeper desire will bring that vision to life. 10. Most people silently wish for a reason to return to sleep. This is a delicate insight, for you have likely felt its pull as well. Many do not truly desire transformation. They desire respectable justification to cease the journey. They seek a voice to say, "It is all right. You have done enough. You may now rest." Because to continue onward, to risk stumbling again, to admit you still hold the desire in your heart, that requires an energy many no longer feel they possess. So they call it exhaustion, they adopt a tone of detachment, or they use the timeless words, "My spirit is no longer in it." But in the quietest part of themselves, they are hoping the path vanishes before they must choose to leave it. Here is where you find your strength. If you can be the one who does not silently turn back, your light will shine without any effort at all. You do not have to be greater. You just have to remain on the path longer than those who are quietly looking for a way home. 11. Your focus is worth more than your training. You have been guided to believe the most precious thing you possess is your knowledge, your certifications, your title. This is untrue. The most precious thing you have is your focused awareness. Because from awareness, skill is born. From awareness, connection is born. Awareness is the true currency of every creator in this age. The training may have opened the first door, but your ability to guide your own focus, that is what makes you a true artist of your life. And most people, they give this precious gift away for nothing, to distractions, to drama, to energies that do not nourish them. And then they wonder why they are still. The quiet truth is you do not have a problem with motivation. You have a challenge with the economy of your attention. Guide that, and you will unlock a flowing abundance faster than any paper ever could. 12. If you are always accessible, you signal that your well is not deep. If people can draw from your energy at any time, they begin to believe it is shallow and endless. This sounds harsh, but it is a law of nature. Rarity signifies depth. Preciousness creates reverence. And if you are always responding in an instant, always agreeing, always available, you are teaching the world to treat your presence like the air, essential but unnoticed. Consider this. The most respected souls you know, they are not available 24 hours a day. They are selective, intentional, and purposeful because their inner well is protected. You are offering water to every passerby, running to answer every call, every request, every "may I borrow your spirit for a moment?" And with each immediate offering, the perceived depth of your well lessons. To be seen with reverence, make access to your presence a conscious gift, not a default state. This is not about being distant. It is about honoring your own depth. 13. A season of deep practice can create a lifetime of separation. Most beings cannot endure short-term discomfort. That is why they live in a state of long-term unease. Discipline is not about an endless struggle. It is about the ability to remain present with difficulty for just long enough to transcend the cycle. 6 months of consistent practice, of returning to the path when it is quiet, uncomfortable, even lonely, can place you on a mountain so far ahead that others will need years to even see your camp. But they will not make the journey because they will still be debating whether it is the right time to begin, while you were quietly enduring the climb and finding strength with each step. The secret is not in pushing harder. It is in remaining for longer than most are willing. Anyone can begin a journey. Very few can embrace the challenges of the path with intention. Do this, and you will be in a different landscape by the time they look up from their map. 14. You don't flourish by being liked. You flourish by being of service. We live in a world that reveres the surface, the image, the aesthetic, the pleasing personality, and that is why most remain without deep roots. Being liked may bring you company. Being of genuine service brings you freedom. You can spend seasons curating the perfect appearance of your garden, or you can cultivate real nourishment and become a source of life for others. And here is what is not often shared. You do not need to be the most brilliant, the most charming, or even the most pleasant. You simply need to be a presence that brings things to completion and helps others do the same. People remember the nourishment they received, not the shape of the bowl it was served in. If your service is true, people will embrace your imperfections. If you are merely pleasing, they will forget you in 5 minutes. Cultivate skill, soothe the pain, bring forth results. Be a lighthouse, not a decorative lamp. 15. Strength does not come from knowing. It comes from embodying faster than others learn. This insight separates the observers from the creators. Everyone now has access to the world's wisdom, teachings, books, guidance. It is all flowing freely. And yet, most remain unchanged because they mistake learning for growing. They drink from the river of knowledge for hours and call it tending to their garden. Meanwhile, another soul took 1 sip of water and used it to grow a single seed by midday. That is where the power lies, in the speed of embodiment, in how swiftly you turn knowing into being. You do not need to be a genius. You simply need to act while others are still lost in thought. Your advantage is not in knowing more. It is in using what you know before it becomes mere common knowledge. In a world full of thinkers, be the one who cultivates. The true transformation begins when the listening stops and the living starts. You know what separates the souls who truly change from those who only observe teachings like this? Embodiment. Most will feel a resonance, save the words, and continue on, as if a deep truth did not just quietly knock on the door of their heart. But if you are still present here, you already sense that you are capable of more. The unsettling feeling is not that you are behind. It is that you are still spending your life force even after this knowing has awakened. And if that insight landed, good, because where you go from here is the only thing that matters. The past is a memory, the future a possibility. The present moment is where all your power resides. How will you use it now? If you are committed to applying these insights in your own life, subscribe as a quiet promise to your own growth. Your journey can inspire others, so let this be a conscious first step.